No Nazis! No KKK! No fascists! USA! Fuck up, bro! I'll treat you like a man! Personal property! That's what you want, right? You go right? You go!
I'm filming you.
Oh, I'm gonna hurt you!
Because you have a mask on. Oh, shit!
Oh! Motherfucker!
You've all seen them, with their black clothes and masked faces, throwing garbage cans, smashing out storefronts, punching Nazis, and lighting things on fire. They call themselves Antifa, short for Anti-Fascist. After the Charlottesville murder and Berkeley riots, Antifa caught the eyes of normal Americans. Now, after months of violence and intimidation, politicians and voters on all sides are waking up to the reality of Antifa and what the movement really represents. However, the media is still afraid to tell us where Antifa came from, who they are, what inspires them, and what their overall objectives are. Until members of Antifa were caught on video threatening people at Berkeley with violence, attacking people in wheelchairs, beating up a man and his son, and committing various other heinous and barbaric acts, the media remains silent about Antifa. Finally, in August of 2017, CNN gave us a glimpse into the life of one Antifa aspirant named Kaval Bott, who CNN says hunted through a closet in his parents' Virginia home for the darkest clothes he could find. For the first time, mainstream media was trying to give us a glimpse of Antifa, and sure enough, we caught a glimpse of a 19-year-old who lives with his parents, has no job, and no real responsibilities. But people like Kaval Bott are only a small part of the picture. How did he learn about Antifa? What about Antifa inspired him? How did he know where to go, what to wear, what kind of signs to hold when he got there? Despite calling themselves a leaderless movement with little ability to organize, Antifa always seems to be at the right place, at the right time, holding the right signs, and chanting all the right slogans. The truth is, the Antifa movement and its uncanny organizational abilities, hard-left views have all the hallmarks and the signature of a famed Chicago community organizer and radical named Saul Alinsky. In his book, Rules for Radicals, Alinsky outlined the methods and practices that Antifa uses today, minus their addition of straight-up violence, something Alinsky never really condoned, contrary to popular belief. To successfully organize, Antifa must have resources and some form of leadership, despite their claims of the opposite. As far back as late 2016, records show that a group called the Alliance for Global Justice gave more than $50,000 to Antifa. What is the Alliance for Global Justice? It's an Arizona-based nonprofit organization founded in 1998 by Solidarity activists who claimed links and ties to the socialist Nicaraguan Sandinista movement of the 1980s. Today, the Alliance for Global Justice also runs the left-wing activist group, the Nicaraguan Network. Robert M. Siegel, or Bob Siegel, is on the Alliance's board of directors. Siegel is a prominent New York investment manager and the president of Cabot Capital Group. One of the Alliance for Global Justice's donors is the infamous Tides Foundation, a nonprofit organization funded by George Soros, Tom Steyer, the Rockefeller family, and several industrialists. The Tides Foundation is one of the biggest contributors to groups like Forest Ethics, who seek to keep Canada's oil in the ground. In 2016, it was reported that the Tides-funded Alliance for Global Justice gave $50,000 to Antifa and thousands more to other organizations that contribute directly and indirectly to Antifa. The Alliance for Global Justice also supports a pro-communist group called Refuse Fascism, which also has direct links to Antifa. Refuse Fascism was one of the groups that nearly burnt Berkeley to the ground to protest a speech by Milo Yiannopoulos. Another member of the Alliance's board of directors was KATHERINE, who spent decades in South America and who openly supported the government of Hugo Chavez. Hoyt, along with the Nicaraguan network, expressed sadness upon the death of the Venezuelan dictator in 2013. So although Antifa riots and protests are attended by mass thugs who live with their parents, it's clear that the organization itself is funded, directly and indirectly, by wealthy American industrialists and activists. Antifa's means to get its message out and organize groups of downtrodden, depressed, and angry lowlives isn't free. The signs they brandish and their mailing lists come at a cost. In many cases, Antifa protesters may be receiving small sums of money to show up, incite violence, and shout slogans that admonish capitalism, moral virtues, and conservatism in the name of communism. Make no mistake about it, Antifa is a communist organization which aims to shut down dissenters with violence and barbarity. This begs the question, why would people like the Rockefellers and George Soros, billionaires, want to have anything to do with a group of fascist, communist thugs looking to destroy capitalism? Well, maybe we can find some insight in some of their own words. It was John D. Rockefeller who once said, "The way to make money is to buy when blood is running in the streets." That same Mr. Rockefeller also said, quote, "Competition is a sin," and, quote, "I always tried to turn every disaster into an opportunity."
You know, they show up in the helmets and the black masks, and they've got clubs and they've got everything. Antifa!
Where Antifa chooses to go from here is yet to be seen, but if they ever need to disappear, we can bet that they will reemerge under a new name with a new moniker. Perhaps the next incarnation of this grotesque and savage movement will be even more violent than the last. If so, all we'll need to do is follow the money.